Have you ever gazed upon a modern metropolis, its towering glass skyscrapers piercing the clouds, and felt a creeping sense that something isn't quite right, that beneath all that dazzling grandeur, there's a fundamental crack? What if I told you that our gleaming cities, from New York to Dubai, are destined to echo the fate of an ancient, cursed city, a city that crumbled not from war or famine, but from its own sheer hubris? Today, we're going to talk about the curse of Babel, and I promise you'll never look at the city you live in the same way again. So, let's take a quick trip back to the legend. Most of us are familiar with the tale of the Tower of Babel. After the Great Flood, humanity, unified by a single language, set out to build a city and a tower so high it would touch the sky. Their goal, to make a name for themselves and prevent being dispersed across the face of the earth. This display of hubris did not please God. He descended to earth and confounded the languages of the builders. Overnight, they could no longer understand each other. Chaos ensued, construction ceased, and the people scattered across the world. And that, the Bible tells us, is how the great endeavour failed. It might seem like just an ancient myth, but what if it's a chillingly accurate metaphor for the problems plaguing our contemporary urban centres? So let's address the first and most apparent curse: architectural hubris. Look at the skylines of modern megacities. What's the first thing that strikes us? Skyscrapers, of course, shimmering needles of glass and steel, piercing the clouds. The ancient Babylonians sought to build a single tower to the heavens. And us? We're doing the very same thing, just on a far grander scale, competing with each other. Dubai, Shanghai, New York, Moscow. It's a perpetual global race, a race for the title of the tallest, the most expensive, the most impressive building. But let's ask ourselves an honest question. Who is all this being built for? Do we truly need another record-breaking skyscraper to live better lives? Or is it simply a way for a city, a nation, or a mega-corporation to make a name for itself? Sounds painfully familiar, doesn't it? A direct quote from an ancient legend, and this is where the curse truly begins to take hold. Look at the infamous ghost cities in China. Entire districts, sometimes even whole cities, built from scratch. They have everything: pristine roads, parks, residential complexes, and colossal shopping malls. They lack only one thing: people. They are monuments to pure ambition, empty shells. They are modern Towers of Babel, completed, yet nobody chose to live in them, because they were built not for life, but merely to tick a box on a report. But there's another, more insidious and closer to home example. Imagine a new exclusive skyscraper in the heart of a major city. It has everything: a rooftop pool, a private cinema, its own security. Its residents gaze down on the city from a bird's eye view, both literally and figuratively. Meanwhile, at the foot of this behemoth, old neighbourhoods huddle, where people live a starkly different, far more modest life. This skyscraper doesn't unite the city, it divides it. It becomes not a beacon of progress for all, but a symbol of colossal inequality, a fortress for the privileged few. This is precisely how destruction begins. Not from the outside, but from within. When construction takes precedence over people and status symbols replace genuine care for the community, the first stone in the foundation of a new Babel is already laid. This is the first and most undeniable sign that a city is sick. But the most dangerous walls are invisible. They don't run along streets. They cut straight through our minds. Let's talk about the second, deeper level of this curse, a new Babel of tongues. And no, I'm not talking about some speaking Russian and others English. It's far more insidious. Today's confusion of languages is about social and cultural isolation. We might live in the same city, yet inhabit entirely separate, non-overlapping worlds. Consider this: we all exist in our own bubbles. Social media algorithms show us only content we already agree with. We consume news from sources that confirm our existing worldview. We primarily interact with people who share our opinions and lifestyles. Step by step, we stop hearing and understanding those outside our bubble. As a result, we begin speaking different languages, not in terms of words, but of meanings. When one person says success, they envision a corporate career and a downtown apartment. For another, success means a stable factory job and their own country house. When someone says security, they might think of a gated community, while someone else thinks of state-provided social welfare. Let's take a vivid example. In the same city live a marketing specialist and a nurse from a local clinic. They might reside just a couple of kilometres apart, but their realities never intersect. They shop at different stores, take different routes, relax in different places, read different books and online communities. Their problems, joys, and the very language they use to describe their lives are completely distinct. They are residents of the same city, yet representatives of two different alien tribes. And this is the modern curse of Babel, the disintegration of a shared field of meaning. When we stop understanding each other, empathy vanishes. In its place, suspicion, fear, and alienation take root. The city ceases to be a unified community and transforms into an archipelago of islands, either warring or simply indifferent to one another. And this state is far more dangerous than any cracks in a skyscraper's foundation. And now we arrive at the third and final element of this curse, a direct consequence of the first two, the collapse of systems. Remember what happened to the builders of the Tower of Babel when they could no longer understand each other. Chaos ensued. Work ground to a halt because the stonemason couldn't explain to the crane operator where to place a block, and the architect couldn't convey his plan to the foreman. The tower was doomed, not because they ran out of bricks, but because its very system of interaction fractured and failed. Now, let's apply this metaphor to a modern city. A city is an incredibly complex organism. For it to truly live and breathe, all its systems must work together seamlessly like clockwork. Transportation, energy, water supply, healthcare, waste management, the list goes on. And all of this hinges on effective communication and cohesive planning. What happens then when a city falls victim to pride and disunity? Its intricate systems begin to malfunction. Imagine a transportation collapse. It doesn't happen merely because there are too many cars. It happens because urban planners develop new districts without adequately considering the road infrastructure. Because residents of affluent neighbourhoods demand more parking, ignoring the needs of the millions who rely on public transportation. Because everyone acts in their own self-interest, with little regard for the bigger picture. This, right here, is a transportation Babylon. Or consider our overburdened social services. Schools and hospitals in older districts are suffocating from an influx of people, while new expensive neighbourhoods boast semi-empty private clinics. This occurs because urban development is uneven. Wealthy islands drain resources, leaving the rest of the city to struggle with problems on its own. This indeed is a social Babylon. Environmental problems follow the exact same scenario. Factories can pollute a river because their management is disconnected from the people who drink that water. A city can choke on its own waste because the consumer culture in some areas is completely detached from the reality of overflowing landfills in others. Each such breakdown isn't merely a technical malfunction. It's a symptom of a deep-seated illness. It's proof that parts of the urban organism have stopped functioning as a cohesive whole. The city, much like that ancient tower, begins to crumble under its own weight, not due to an external enemy, but because of internal chaos and the loss of a common language. This truly is the final stage of the curse of Babylon, which we are witnessing right now. So what's the most terrifying twist in this story? What is the true curse of Babel for us, inhabitants of the 21st century? It's not that an invisible higher power is punishing us for building tall. The truth is far simpler and far more frightening. The curse we've brought upon ourselves is the disappearance of a common language. And I'm not talking about Russian, English or Chinese. I'm talking about a language of shared purpose, a language of empathy, a language of community. Once, a city was a place where people gathered for mutual protection, trade, and a shared future. Today, for many, the modern metropolis is merely a collection of services, a convenient place to work, order food, and seek entertainment, all while existing in their own personal bubble. We live side by side with millions, yet we don't know the names of our next-door neighbours. We connect on social media with people across the globe, but can't find common ground with those living just across the street. We've stopped understanding each other. And here it is, the final act of this drama. The fall of Babel isn't when skyscrapers crumble. It's when a city transforms into a giant stage set, populated by lonely individuals, when it ceases to be a home and becomes merely a place of residence, when the tower empties from within, even if its facade still shines in the sun. That is the true curse, and we are living right in its epicenter. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If this topic made you think, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future analyses. Now, a question for you. Do you feel this Babel of languages in your own city? Have you experienced this sense of alienation? Or on the contrary, witnessed incredible examples of unity? Share your story in the comments below. Let's discuss.